Here is the cab, and all the green will stay white, and all the white that you see right now will be painted red. So let's see how it turns out. Guess we'll figure it out. Here came with 2 of the plates that go on the back, so I just wanted to try something. So I took the other chrome plate that we're not going to use anyway, and I painted it, oops, and I painted it. So I took this plate that actually was chrome, and I just wanted to paint it and then sand it to see if I could get all the chrome plating on the diamond plate come out. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, I just painted the blanket blue, so we'll see how this came out here real quick. I just wanted to do a color that was a color that you can see if you look through the front windshield. That'll show up in the sleeper, because, you know, we all have weird colored blankets, so I think it worked out. So there's the bed in the back, and then we can use some of this panel accent we'll put on there. The panel accent will kind of highlight the wrinkles and stuff in there. But that looks just like a bed and blanket that you would see in the back of a sleeper cab. Tape off of this cab. Pull the tape off here. See. It's a little sticky. That's all right. Cool. So we can pull this tape. Let's see. How it looks. See how the actual cab comes out. Let's see. So it's getting there. Now, you know, the lines don't have to be super sharp, so I'm going to use a black Sharpie to be the black line that you see in all the real trucks. So If any of you are old enough to remember BJ and the Bear, that was the truck paint design that I was looking for. And I got close to it. Let's just see. So when I use the black highlighter to put the black between the red and the white, I think it will work fine. I think it will look okay. So there you go. So it's kind of the design I was going for. It's not perfect. Like I said, we'll use the black Sharpie to put the lines in, because there is a black piece of black line that goes between them, and that'll be perfect. Alright guys, so we just painted the frame. We're just painting the last of all these parts. There's over 300 parts, so a lot of this stuff has to be painted prior to it going on. Now this is the bottom, and I didn't wipe that, and I should have, and that's a perfect reason why you need to wipe plastic, because there was a little bit of grease on there, so I'm gonna have to repaint that. And then we had to repaint the one side of the cab, because this side was fine, but this side over here, it was a little crooked, so I just had to clean that up. So once all this stuff dries, I think we've got everything else painted. So now we have paint, chrome, and everything else, and we can finish putting the whole truck together. You can use a Sharpie like I'm doing here, and you just, because this paint job had a black line, so I'll straighten that out. Looks like the cab will fit the way it's supposed to. We can put this plate will sit there. Fifth wheel will be back here. So I just laid this one here. Like that. Looks like it's going to fit the way it's supposed to. Okay. Well, let's get back to building. I think the next step, not those. The next step is the engine. I believe fits those two tabs fitting right there. And then this we go there to there. Alright. Fact is that the 352 Peacemaker, or 352 Pacemaker rather, by Peterbuilt, was introduced in 1969, and the 362, the last Cabover made by Peterbuilt, was in 2005, I think. It was around 2005, but the reason that they had Cabovers is there was a DOT limit to how long a truck and trailer could be, and it was from the bumper of the front of the truck to the end of the trailer. And a Cabover gave a lot more, gave, you know, like an extra 6 or 7 feet of trailer. Once those restrictions were removed by DOT, then a lot of people went to the standard cab, which is what you see today. But growing up in the 70s and 80s, I would say the Cabovers were pretty much the standard truck you would see on the highway. So part 3 is going to cover step 8, and should cover all of step 9, but it may be most of step 9. We're not sure yet. So that's where we are today, step 8, step 9 on day 4. Because we want to make sure, and we did, all the wheels and axles are where they're supposed to be. And as you can see, the back ones roll and the front ones roll. So they all roll. Front ones do, or back 2 axles roll, these don't. So that is where we are. So, and this is just laying in here for right now. And we got our red rims on the front and chrome on the back. Red center caps. We've got all the air brakes, everything connected on the back. So we are ready to move on. We are up to number 8, putting the engine in the chassis, and then number 9, chassis accessories. So as you can see on here, there's 25 steps in this one, 6 or 10 steps on that one. And the tab right here, I can use it. This. There's a tab right there and a tab here, and then on the engine there is a tab right there and one on the other side, so you can kind of see tab there, tab there. The engine sits directly on those tabs like so. So just like that. Now, drive shaft should fit from the transmission, and this should go to that. So that is, yeah, that's what that should happen. And then the hole for the fan belt will go through the hole there and connect up, so it goes through the frame. So here's hoping everything fits the way it's supposed to fit, and we'll figure out if it does. Let me show you something here. So this goes from so this goes from here to there. It is just a little short. I don't know why it's short. Who knows? But it's short by just a tad. Now, there's a couple things you can do. You can leave it off, which I don't want to. Or what we can do is we heat it up and we stretch it just that little bit. So I think what we'll do is we'll just heat it up a little bit, because it's plastic. So we'll heat this up in the middle, and it'll be the last thing we do after we're done with this thing. Once we have the engine in and everything else, then we'll just heat this up and we will just stretch it just a tad and make it fit. I'll show you how to do that when we do that. On the engine there, and this is the upper radiator hose on the chrome tree, but it's an upper radiator hose. So what are we going to do? We're just going to use our black Sharpie, and we'll color in the hose and leave the chrome fittings on the end. So Sharpies work really well for a lot of stuff, for belts and hoses and stuff. So don't be afraid to just grab a Sharpie and use it, and they come in all kinds of colors. As you can see, I got a whole bunch here. So that's one of the easiest secrets. No mess. And you can just color it in right there. So see, it says upper radiator hose. So we'll make the hose black, and that's it. Alright guys, so one of the things with the mud flaps, there's this little piece here I think it's in step 7 that goes to the back. And these mud flaps, the easiest way to do this, and that's why I tell you guys to go buy these little magic finger things, which are like $3.99 a piece, because you can set them up here. So like I have this piece here, which instead of me messing with all these on the truck, I can just sit here and glue these onto here, and then take this one piece, glue it on the back. Meanwhile, we've got most of the engine on there. There's a couple pieces, hoses and stuff. We've now put the plate on the back. We've put the fifth wheel on the back. And we just have things like the fuel tanks. We're on step 9 with all the chassis accessories. We're also gonna have to build the shifter, which will stay on the chassis when the cab goes up, and you can see underneath there's a hole right there, and that's where the shifter goes up on or stays and goes into the cab when it tilts forward to be worked on. So that's where we're at right now. And one thing with mud flaps, they don't have to be perfect because most mud flaps don't hang perfectly. But anyway, we'll be back shortly with some more stuff done to the chassis. So right now we've used the Sharpies, so you can use a Sharpie to do the gauges. So we did the gauges, the air conditioning ducts, and let's see, we got steering wheel drying right there, and we've got the mud flaps drying. They'll be there for a while. We put the supports for the cab on their side. Also kind of fixed the front so it's more matching instead of coming down to a point. But I'm happy with that, honestly. It's just a fun way. You paint it the way you want, I'll paint it the way I want. And we used the Sharpies for the battery box. We used the silver Sharpie to do the air cleaners. So just do the silver on the air cleaner. So right now we're just kind of in a holding pattern. We did finish the fan and finish the front of the engine. Let me pop this light on here for a second. Right there. So we have the front of the engine. We still have a lot more to go. We're still right there on number 9. And then we have number 9. We have to do all the chassis. We have to do the shifter and everything else. Then number 10, interior windows, as well as the outside of the cab. And we still have, let's see, 10 cab accessories, cab chassis. This was a good time to take my X-Acto knife, and you could see all the holes. Just went through and made sure that none of the paint was blocking any of the holes. So we'll be able to put all the stuff on the cab. So that's where we're at right now. Next we'll have to build the seats. The seats are multiple part. So we'll put those together and finish this interior piece. And what else? Oh yeah, we have all the other pieces of the chassis to do. And like I said, there's the interior and windows. We just painted the air conditioning. Now it says to paint this white, but I painted it red because I like it matching, and it really wouldn't matter. We did use some of the panel line accent black to do the grills, to do the air conditioning duct, to do the radiator, and you can see that where it makes everything look a little bit more standoffish, a little less toy-like. So anyway, that's where we're at, and we will be back shortly. 9, and we've let's see what we did here. We put the oil pump on. We've put the battery box on, along with the luber finer body, which is the chrome thing here. I put the steps on fuel tank, the fuel tank on, we put an air tank behind that, and this is the shift lever bracket right there, which goes into those two holes. So right now we're just letting this dry. Now I'm trying to figure out, do I want to put the cover on the battery box once it's dry or not? I'll figure that out a little later. But that is where we're at. We have the other side, all the tanks and everything on the other side are done. So we have that. We also installed the for the cockpit, for the driver's seat gauge package right there, and dashboard rather, and then somewhere over here, someplace, is the steering column and steering wheel. I have no idea where it is. I had it. Oh, here it is. So this is being a little pain in the butt to try to get it in there, so I'll work on that a little later. So we are now the morning of day 4, I guess, and we're getting there. We are getting there. Hey, good morning everybody. We are on day 5 or day 6 of the build, and of this Pacemaker from Peterbuilt, the Peterbilt 352 Pacemaker Cabover, Coca-Cola edition. That's what we're building right there. And we just got done number 9, part 9 of the whole chassis. So you can see we now have, I know it's hard to see, maybe I can put a piece of paper, let me put this piece of cardboard behind here. You can see we just put the shifter there, the transmission linkage shifter to the floor spot that will come up through this hole right here. So when this sits on here, it goes, it's going to go in here, and it comes through the floor like that. So you can see we did that. We have the steering column in right now. Next, we're going to be putting hoses on, like the blower hoses and a lot more hoses in the next part. We did the battery box. I repainted the top of the battery box chrome, and there's the batteries. I don't know, I will probably, I don't know if I'll end up gluing that on, but you usually can glue it but keep it off. I don't know, this just depends. I don't want to lose this piece and then have this there, so we'll see. But it fits on pretty tight, so I may just leave it. We did on the cab here, we did the visor, so that's on there, poked all the holes through. So today we're gonna go to interior. So we're gonna kind of put this to the side. By the way, these little cake spinners, I bought these. They were $10 for 2 of them on Amazon, and they are just great for modeling. They're plastic, they're lightweight. This is, I have one that's painted with, I painted checkered squares on it for the end. You'll see that at the end. This one here, once you get to a point like here where I don't want to keep moving, this is a pretty heavy piece now. I don't want to keep putting strain on all the axles and everything. So we just put it on this roundabout. You can reach everything. So that's an idea if you go on Amazon. They're actually for cakes, so they're pretty cool to have. All right, so we're gonna finish up the interior piece. We're gonna put all on the cab. We got all the chrome pieces, the horns, the lights, air conditioning, the lenses and everything on here. Now, a certain person that is in this house said, oh, there's those black lines are a little crooked. They are a little crooked. and here's why they're a little crooked, is this cab is full. If we look under the light, you can see it's got rivets everywhere. As I said, I'm not making this for show, just kind of making it for the shelf. I could redo those lines with my black Sharpie, and I could do them in the future if I want to. But right now, I'm not going to worry about doing those. I just want to get everything else done. So we're going to go to number 10, interior windows, accessory pieces. Finish up we have to build all the seats and everything and put those in here. Get this done, get the windows done. We're going to use Mod Podge. I showed you guys this before. It's Mod Podge, M-O-D Podge. You can get this. This one was $4. It's lasted me about 2 years. I have another one here. As you can see, Mod Podge. This stuff is awesome. It's a white glue. This is what we glued the tires on with, and like if you look at the rims, you can't tell that there was white glue all over. This stuff literally dries super clear. It doesn't even affect chrome pieces. So we're going to use that for the chrome and for the windows on that. So we're going to get through part 10 today and try to get to 11 where we finish the engine up. But I did do a test fit, and like I said, so everything sits the way it's supposed to. I put this in here. I did a test fit, so that way we know that if it rests on the two cab supports right there, these two cab support pieces, the cab, these two pointy parts of the cab right there rest in these two receiver pieces here. And when they do that with the interior in it, the shifter does fit exactly through the hole it's supposed to. So that being said, hopefully the rest of the world lines up and all will be good, and there'll be people singing Kumbaya around the pickup truck or around the tractor trailer model when it's done, but we'll see. Anyway, it's looking pretty good. It's so weird to me how it starts with these really thin rails, and then all of a sudden just piling everything up onto the frame rails just makes this a really big solid model. But they're very cool, and as I said, it's been taking almost a week of my time, which is good because I have an injury right now that has stopped me from being able to do any work on anything, and it probably will for a while, so you might see some models. There's a couple things I'm trying to do, but right now the biggest thing is I have a ankle and knee injury that I'm not going to talk about, but that's what's keeping me kind of indoors and going and doing junkyard walks for a while. Anyway, but we have a lot of model kits to build up on, and so we might see some models, and we'll see some other stuff that I have, some videos I've shot before that we'll throw up there for now. So, all right, we'll see you shortly. So on the cab, we fixed so that these are more identical because they're just my little design. Then I used a red Sharpie to color in the Peterbilt there and on each corner right there, and we put the visor on. I only glued the visor at the two ends with my tube glue because that should hold it without any problems. We did paint the holders body color. These will go in from underneath. I'm sorry, this won't go in there, but they go in from underneath. The headlight holders and lenses are headlight holders are chrome, and the lenses are clear, so we can work on that as well. So a couple things that we've been doing here. So we've got the exhaust pipes going out either way. They're both hiding at the moment. We've got the blower air filter. This cabin air filter goes up into the cabin when it closes. We put the blower hose on here right there. We put the pipe, the metal bar goes across the back that holds the exhaust pipes up. So we have those, and then if if you look inside the cabin here, we put the seats in. So we have both seats in now, the steering column. You can actually see the bed in the back, which is really what I wanted to do. A little bit of detail for the back. And the rest of the cab is still not got glass or anything in it. We'll put that in shortly. I was just doing some test fitting onto the chassis to make sure that this fit with the pipes doing what the pipes are doing. So that's where we're at, and we'll be back. My Mod Podge, and I'm going to put Mod Podge so you can actually watch. So you don't have to worry too much about if you get something on something. So Mod Podge, we're just going to cover the inside frame of where the windows are. The windshield anyway, we'll do the windshield here. And we're just going to put it on. As they say, we're going to put it on generously in here. Put it on quite generously. So it's in there quite generously. Stick this here for now. And then I'm going to take this windshield, and I believe it goes in this direction, and push it on. There we go. All right, so now it's in, and you can see some of the white glue right now, but you won't see that shortly, because it will dry perfectly clear. So we're going to go ahead and put the rest of the glass in, and then we will put cord in there. We'll start putting the lights and everything on the roof.
I will make a report because I want to deliver a letter with a message to you, hand in hand, which also will be.
Guys, so we got the glass in, and like you can see, if you look on it from the outside, it's clear. So, but the top, now I opened up all the holes. You saw that earlier. These lights have clear lenses. They're not red lenses. There is no amber lenses, so there's clear lenses, which we put on. Incredibly frustrating to try to put those little lenses on the rooftop, but we did. And then the worst thing is, I don't know what kind of person's mind goes in that makes these air horns 2 pieces, because they make the back piece really, really tiny. It's chrome. They're just the biggest pain in the butt to put on there. But I finally got them in. They're on there, so now we have the air horns, we have the lights on there, we have the glass in. It just all has to dry. You also make sure, if you do the Cabover, there are holes there and there and there and there for the pipes. So when you're setting up this pipe, you have to put the cab on, because these pipes, they attach to the cab, and then when they come down, they're supposed to line up exactly with these pipes. So you just want to make sure that when those pipes are in and you have the cab on. So here's the cab. Let's put the cab on here. I don't have the interior part in, but then you take the bottom of the pipe here, make sure that the bottom of this pipe is going to line up with the holes in the cab that are drilled there, so that way everything works. Also, you'll find this pipe goes through the cab, into the cab, into the sleeper where the seating is, goes through the roof, and it'll sit something like that. Actually, I don't know, there's not a hole underneath, no. So it'll sit like that. So we're getting close. We've got about 60, 70 more pieces to go, and we're getting close. So it's been 5 days. Guys, so we got the glass in, and like you can see, if you look on it from the outside, it's clear. So, but the top, now I opened up all the holes, you saw that earlier. These lights have clear lenses. They're not red lenses, there is no amber lenses, so there's clear lenses which we put on. Incredibly frustrating to try to put those little lenses on the rooftop, but we did. And then the worst thing is, I don't know what kind of person's mind goes in that makes these air horns 2 pieces, because they make the back piece really, really tiny. It's chrome. They're just the biggest pain in the butt to put on there. But I finally got them in. They're on there, so now we have the air horns, we have the lights on there, we have the glass in. It just all has to dry. You also make sure, if you do the Cabover, there are holes there and there and there and there for the pipes. So when you're setting up this pipe, you have to put the cab on, because these pipes, they attach to the cab, and then when they come down, they're supposed to line up exactly with these pipes. So you just want to make sure that when those pipes are in and you have the cab on, so here's the cab, let's put the cab on here. I don't have the interior part in, but then you take the bottom of the pipe here, make sure that the bottom of this pipe is going to line up with the holes in the cab that are drilled there, so that way everything works. Also, you'll find this pipe goes through the cab, into the cab, into the sleeper where the seating is, goes through the roof, and it'll sit something like that. Actually, I don't know, there's not a hole underneath, no. So it'll sit like that. So we're getting close. We've got about 60, 70 more pieces to go, and we're getting close. So it's been 5 days. Now we put the interior in, and this is how it's going to sit. So it's test fitted. Like here, we still have the stacks. We still have number 11 and number 12 to do. We still have, 11, 12, and a lot of 12 to do. But for now, we are where we're at, and this is just going to be where it sits. So this is it for the night. I said this is just sitting on here right now. So we haven't done anything on the interior yet. Haven't done the stacks. We're just going to let this sit. Everything dry for tonight, and then hopefully tomorrow is day 7. And hopefully we'll be done. And then we can put the decals on. But so far I'm really liking it. I'm glad I just did my own custom paint job on there. You can do a custom, you could just paint it the way you wanted. It's white and red right there. Or you can do, I had to do kind of white and red because it is Coca-Cola. But yeah, it's looking good. I'm kind of happy with it at the moment. We'll see if I still stay happy with it. But I haven't built one of these in 33 years, so it's been a while since I built a tractor trailer cab. Okay. We're here on number 11, the cab accessories, and one of the most important things when building one of these models is making sure when you put the stacks together that first off, you sand the chrome so they fit together. Secondly, these are going to go inside. The top stack should face the back. Make sure when you put in that, because these can only attach one way, they're going to attach this way to the cab, that you want to make sure that the stack is going out the other way. So you see how it's got a and you can see on there it's got like an angle to it. You want to make sure the angle is the opposite direction of the tabs that go into the back of the truck right there and there. So just something I wanted to point out real quick is to make sure you do that. And the other thing is, I'm not putting the mirrors and stuff on like it says in 11, because I want to do all the other pieces first, and then the last thing I'll do is to put the side mirrors and the door handles and stuff on the side, because it's a lot easier for the cab when you're putting in the things underneath that you turn it on its side, and if you have the mirrors there, it really limits what you can do. So I would suggest you just do the mirrors last and the handrails last and the door handles last and these little spotlights last. So if you do those last on the cab, you can get the rest of the cab done. This piece here, you can actually see, if I hold up the cab and look inside, you can see it. So I painted mine silver and it comes out the roof. So you want to make sure if you look inside there, you can see it's silver in there. And so just know you need to paint that, because you're going to be able to see it through the windows. And I am not putting on the hinges. So if you look at here, the bumper was cracked in half when I got the kit. So I'm putting there's another lower bumper piece that's optional, pretty much put on there. The red one, some people paint it black, I painted it red. So I put that on and let this, and you can see there's a crack right there. This thing was broken in half, did the best I could putting it on. Also used an orange Sharpie and well actually I used a red Sharpie, crap. No, I used an orange one, there's the orange one. It's an oranger one, but I did these lights with a Sharpie. So anyway, we're moving on. I'm going to put the stacks together. We'll put them on the cab, and when you see them next time, they'll be on there. And they have to land on top of these two pieces here, which now cannot be moved. So just make sure you do these. It's easiest to put the cab on while you're doing this, once you glue it on, and make sure everything lines up. All right, thanks. Just using the Mod Podge Dry Clear to put the clear lenses into the headlights there. So we're going to do that. We've got our stacks drying right here. And so we're going to put the lenses in there, then these in there. These will go in there. Right now we have the two stacks drying. I did have to use my X-Acto knife blade to go ahead and put holes where they need to be. You'll see the holes there, but I widened mine out a little bit. And then we have the headlights with the lenses in now. They're just sitting there waiting to go in, which they will go in from behind right here. And that is where we'll put them now. See those chrome ones there? There is a second chrome set of lights on the tree right there. Okay, they look like they're for a fender. So they're left over from another truck model or something. So be aware, there's two sets and they are not the ones you want. If you can see, they have some kind of a handle thing that sticks out. So unless that's for the rear lights, I'm not sure yet. But for the headlights, make sure you use the ones that are just the small little chrome ones like that. I use the Mod Podge, which is why they're white behind there. It'll take probably a couple hours for drying. Couple hours for drying for these, so that I don't knock them off and everything else. And plus I had to re-glue this one because I accidentally pushed this off of my turntable. Yep, things happen. So that's where we're at the moment. Close. We just put the grill in. The lights are still here. They're not in yet. We took forever to get the pipes coming out from under the exhaust there to line up with these pipes. So, and then of course we put in the two water hoses there, the radiator behind the grill. So now that goes back there, and that should sit okay there. It does. We are getting so close after 5.5 days, so close to having a completed truck. So we still have a bunch of parts, left, but we're getting close. And soon we'll be putting on the decals, but I'm liking it. I really do. I'm glad I kept this paint job. It's not perfect, but who is? But I like it. I don't know if you remember, there's the drive shaft we haven't put in yet because I thought it was too short. Now we're almost at the end of build, and I noticed there's a drive shaft on the chrome piece, which is longer than that one, which is the correct drive shaft. So going through the model, one of the things you got to remember is we got to look for the right pieces and part numbers, and I didn't do that. I just assumed that that longer drive shaft that's there was the one that went over. It's not. It's right here. So I want to go ahead and paint that one black and cut that out, because there are some pieces in this kit they don't use, and that right there, drive shaft, is one. I guess that's for a different model, but there's our drive shaft. So I'm going to go ahead and paint that black, and that's the one that fits. So there we go. I was actually looking for the license plate right here and saw that. So that's a cool thing. Those guys, so there is, I didn't know which lights to use because it doesn't really tell you. So I used the ones I liked, which were the bigger lights around the license plate. So that's ready to go on. I made a license plate bracket from a spare piece that I had because I kind of like the license plate bracket that I make. It's going to be a lot steadier than just kind of gluing this on. And a lot of trucks, license plate holders and brackets are all different. So we've got the back on now. This is not the finished product yet. We did put on the step. That's still drying right there, the red step, you can see it. And then we put inside of the foot step right there, there's the chrome piece that is inside the step. And then here's the front. We got the lights in right now. Everything's drying again. There's a lot of put stuff in, let it dry. Put stuff in, let it dry. And that's where we're at right now, is the let it dry. And like I said, we painted the other drive shaft. That's the old drive shaft. The other one's outside drying. And then we'll put that in. So, and kind of happy. I mean, they don't match up 100%, but they do land on the bases of the exhaust pipes. I don't have the hinges put in. I'm not putting hinges on this. I don't put hinges on a lot of things. I don't use them for hoods. I'm not going to use it for this because I will never have it displayed opened up. If I want to show somebody, I can just lift it straight up. And if I lift up the top, it'll come right up. I can show everybody the underneath, but I'm never going to have it in a diorama or something where it's tilted forward, because if I remember right, every time I used to do that, they would break. So, but it's getting close, guys. Maybe another hour, and then we can put decals. We still have to do mirrors, handrails, and stuff, but we're getting super close. I'm not weathering this at all. However, the fifth wheel I did sand. So if you want to call it weathering, I just like showing the details, which when this is gloss black, you really don't get to see the details of the fifth wheel. So by just sanding it, lightly sanding it with a 600 grit, I brought out the details. So I kind of like that. There is going to be the back lights that I like, and we're just getting to the point where we're going to be finishing this up. So I'm glad you guys have stayed with us. I know there was many parts, but honestly, we are on day 6 of building this, and it would have been impossible to do it all in one video. All right, guys, so we are coming towards the end. One of the things that I have a hard problem with, and has always been a problem for me, is putting these mirrors on. So basically that's one of the reasons I also didn't put the hinges on, because I could just lay this down, put the mirrors on, put those turn signal lights on, put the handlebar on this side. We painted the 2 marker lights there, and we did some inside. So the last thing we have are to put the rails and mirrors on the driver's side, and then do, oops, sorry, like that, and then put the decals on. So that's really all we have left. So we're gonna go ahead, finish that. Wipers go on, windshield wipers, all the other pieces, a little trim, door handles, we're gonna do all that, and then we will be back. Actually, we'll do all that, and we're gonna put the decals on it today, and then we'll be back with the final product. When I'm working on these, because if you can't lay it sideways to glue, so I put, you can see how these things here, the rail and the mirrors, if you lay them there, then you can put the rails and the mirrors up here first, and then I'll glue the mirror in that rail once it dries in a little while. All right, everybody, so this is the Peterbilt 352 Pacemaker Cabover AMT model, and as you can see, it looks a little different. It's a white and red truck, just like there. I painted this, we've watched it. It took 7 days. Now, it's not 7 full days, 8 hours a day, but 7 days of building and letting it dry, and building and letting it dry. And this is the end. So I think it came out really well. I could have painted it with just the white on the front, or you paint it, you know, it's your model. You paint it however you want it. I wanted one of these old Kenworths, or Peterbilts, painted this way rather, because of a show called BJ and the Bear that was about a truck driver and his monkey, if you're too young to know that, back in the 70s. But anyway, I think the truck came out really well. Is it perfect? Not even close. Is it a show truck? Probably not. But, you know, I'm happy with it. It's going to look great on the shelf. It's the first tractor trailer, tractor model I've built in almost 30 years. So we can, you know, see everything kind of lines up the way it's supposed to and everything. And then if I take the cab off, because like I said, I don't tilt, we can look at the engine. And we can see how everything fit together. If I lift it up underneath, you can see we put that drive shaft in, because I had the wrong drive shaft, but it's all together. It looks like it's supposed to. And it provided me, because right now I'm kind of laid up a little bit because of my knee, because of a accident. And it gives me something to do, and it gave me 7 days of a lot of fun and 3 days of a lot of frustration. But this is definitely for a model builder who you better have built a bunch of models before doing this. I would say this isn't your first, this isn't your second model. AMT kits, these are your like 30th model, or you've been building models for a year or two and you understand how to put everything together, and that stuff's gonna fail sometimes and stuff's gonna break sometimes, and you're not gonna be perfect. So, and even if we look inside, get the light there, you can see the inside of the glass, and you can see how everything looks in there. Anyway, I like the Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola decal sheet is huge. So you can pick however you want. We've got our 3 license plates on the front. We got the license plate on the back. We've got stickers from all the different states, inspection stickers that are needed for interstate commerce. It did come with the Peterbuilt stickers there. And then of course we put the Coca-Cola on with their address, which they have on their trucks, and then the standard truck information. Nothing special on the stickers, on the decals. We kind of just made this as if it was a second-hand truck that Coke distributorship bought, and they didn't really repaint it. They just kind of made it their own. So put some Coca-Cola stickers on the back. The real thing. I'd like to buy the World of Coke. And there's your back bumper with tail lights and such hanging down because they just did it that way. A lot of trucks, you'll see all kinds of stuff where tail lights are on these tractor trailers. Peterbilt mud flaps. So the battery box right there, it does come off. But I'm just a happy camper with it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope if you've never built one of these and you want to go back and look, I literally did not do this as a 1-hour build. I did this as a 7-day build. So if you can build this kit or similar kits similar in that length of style, if you have somewhere that can just sit there for about 5 to 7 days, take your time with these things. Take your time, make sure stuff is dry, and those magic fingers that I showed you, you should have those. You need an X-Acto knife. You need, let's see, something to cut the pieces off of the plastic. So I use tube glue for this whole thing. So tube glue and my white glue, my Mod Podge, which I use for the glass and for some of the chrome pieces. But I'm happy with it. I hope you enjoyed following, and we'll make another model on next Model Monday. So stay tuned. Thank you guys. Please subscribe. Check out all our content. We've got race cars, NASCARs, sorry about that. We got race cars, NASCAR. We have car auctions, car swap meets, junkyards walks, car show walks, barn finds, you name it. We're building a truck. We're building a Ford F-150 in OBS 1995. So stick with us, and thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.